Hi guys, we are doing a tutorial today on how to draw the scratch gauge. So first thing you need to do is create a new document. So you come over here to create, document, then you name it. I'm naming mine number 2 because I've already drawn this before. So when you hit accept, it will take you to this new working space here. So we have 3 faces that we can choose to draw on. We have the top, the right, and the front. We're going to go to the top by clicking this view cube over in the corner here. We're going to click on the top of it, and that's going to give us a top-down view of our workspace. Then we go over here to sketch, click on sketch, then click on the top surface. That tells the program that we are going to be drawing on the top surface. We're going to start drawing the sleeve of our scratch gauge. So we're going to come over here to the line tool. We're going to start in the center, and we're going to come out like this. And we're just going to draw a basic outline without doing any measurements right now. That is our profile of our scratch gauge. So all we need to do now is to dimension this. Now this comes from the center of our scratch gauge, which is 25 mil here. So I go 25 divided by 2. It's going to give me that measurement there. And I know from this point to this point here, it's meant to be 31.5. And this is meant to be a 45-degree thing. So that's going to be 45 plus 90. There we go. This one here is also 45. And from the end to this point here, we know that it is 50. And that sort of screwed up our drawing a little bit. So we're just going to click and drag these points back to where they're supposed to be. So when the points are still blue, they're still bending and can be moved around, while these ones over here that are black, they are fixed in place now, so they can't. We know the depth of this from here to here is 6 mil, and that one there is 3 mil, which will make that 135, which is 45 degrees. And then the only measurement left is this distance here. That one there should be 27 divided in half, which is 13 and a half. So everything should be in place to have our nice profile of this thing here. So now we go over here and hit the tick button, which completes the sketch, and it also saves what we've done so far. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to the revolve tool. Now, it asks you which faces you want to revolve, and we're just going to click on that sketch we just drew. Then we choose the revolve axis, and we choose this backside here. And what that's going to do is revolve it around and turn it into the sleeve. So we hit tick, and there it is. So if we come to the end here, we're going to hit sketch, and we're going to draw on the end point here. And we're just going to put the hole through it. So I'm going to use this circle tool here. I'm going to go from the center point. I'm going to go out like this. And this hole here should be 12 mil. So once I've done that, I can go and hit the tick button, extrude, click the surface I want to do. And I'm going to come over to this menu here and I'm going to hit remove. And that's going to start tunneling in like that. Now, I could set the depth to this if I wanted to be a certain depth, but I know I want it to go all the way through, so I'm just going to drag it like that, and that's just going to drill the hole through for me. So that's the hole for the shaft to go into. Now what we need to do is we need to put the hole in for the thumb screw. So if we go once again to the top view, we're going to sketch on top, and then we're just going to draw a circle around here. So I've got this in line with the midpoint here. It's showing up a level indicator for me, and that's going to come out like that. Now this hole is supposed to be an M8, so we're just going to make it 8 mil, but we're not going to worry about trying to put a thread into it on this program because it doesn't really matter. We can just put an arrow to it and say that's an M8. So we're just going to draw that for now and hit the tick button. Then we're going to come over here to extrude. And it's difficult to actually get that surface again. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to our list of different things that we've done. And we're going to hit on sketch 3 again. And so that's just going to pull it up like this. Now we once again want to hit remove. That's going to go out the bottom, which doesn't really matter for us. We could hit this button here and it would flip it around. So we're just going to have it there and we're going to drill that hole through that. Now that's this piece completed. All we have to do now is just to name it and add in its properties. So if I right click here and then go to properties, I can rename it. And this is the sleeve. And it is 55 mil of a 40 mil round bar. So we just hit save. That'll change its name here in the parts menu. And I'm just going to go down here to the parts menu and hit this little eye symbol. And just make that go away. Because that's done now. We can leave that in the background. We can start working on our other pieces. So we go again back to the top. And we're going to sketch on top again. We're going to grab the center point rectangle tool. So default is corner rectangle. So we go here and hit this drop down menu. And we grab center point rectangle. We're going to click the center and come out like this. Now, this square is 65 by 65. And I'm going to extrude that now. So I go to extrude, I click on the surface. I'm going to hit new here. I'm going to change the depth of this to 6 mil because we're using 6 mil plate for this section. Then I'm going to sketch onto the surface again. I'm going to grab the circle tool. I'm going to make a circle going from the center out. And this is going to be 30 mil. So once that's done, I hit the tick. And I'm going to again use extrude, click that circle, hit remove. And now I have a hole drilled into the surface. Now this plate here needs to have a chamfer that goes all the way around the edges of this. So what we're going to use is we're going to use the chamfer tool. So that's up here in this menu here. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to click on the edge of that circle. And it's automatically going to put in a 3 mil chamfer for me. If this number is different on yours, you have to just change this distance to 3 mil. So now that piece is done. So now we're going to right click on part 2 down in our parts menu, go to properties, and change this. Now this is the plate. And it is 65 by 65 by 6 plate. Save. That part is complete. We're going to hide that part now. Go back to top. And now we're going to make the thumb screw. So we're going to sketch on top. We're going to use the circle tool, go from the center out like this. It's going to be 8 mil. Tick. Extrude. Click the circle again. And we need to have it to a depth of 16 mil. So now we just have the little stick. This is the threaded part of our thumb screw. So I'm going to sketch. I'm going to make sure I click the end of the cylinder we just made. Use the circle tool again. Go from the center out again like that. And this part here is 20 mil in diameter. Once again, extrude. make sure you click both parts of this circle because it will exclude the center part or the outside part if you don't click both. So I've clicked both parts here, and it is making sure it's a full cylinder, not with one with a hole in the middle of it. The depth of this is going to be 14 mil. Now once again we want to hit a chamfer on this, so I'm going to use the chamfer tool. I'm going to click both the top and the bottom edge, and it's going to chamfer both of them to our 3 mil, just like we had on the last one. Tick. That's that part done. Right click on the part 3 on the parts list, go to properties, thumb screw. Now this is 30 mil of 20 mil round brass. So now we're going to hit save. And that part is done. So we're going to hide it away. Reorientate ourselves to the top. And now we need to make the shaft. We're going to hit sketch. You hit top. We're going to make a circle from the center out like this. Now this shaft is supposed to be 12 mil in diameter. So we're going to make that 12. And then we're going to grab the line tool again. And because our thing has a bit of a flat on one side, we have to come through here and make a flat like this. Now, if you look at this carefully, you can see that I've clicked on the edge of the circle and now I've brought it over to the other side of the circle. The line is now a blue dotted line. That means it is now level with what is halfway. So I'm making sure that's done to make sure that we get it properly in there. We need to come here and use the dimension tool here. So we go from the center point to that line, and we can get out and click it again. So we're going to make that measurement be 3 mil. We hit tick, and now we're going to use the extrude tool. We're going to click on this bottom half of the circle, so what comes out has a flat on the top, and this is going to 300 mil. So there's our 300 mil part. So now we're going to orientate ourselves to the bottom. We're going to sketch once again on this, and we're going to come in here and we're going to go from the center point out, and we're going to make a 4 mil hole here. So we use the center point circle, we set it to 4 mil, tick. We're going to extrude that, remove it, and it needs to go 20 mil deep into our job. Make sure that it's going the right direction. It's actually going into our job. So once again, I've used this opposite direction thing. It flashed up red, so I knew there was an error. And now I've put it back inside my job. Now we need to orientate ourselves to whichever side has this flat on it. So I am now going to sketch onto that flat. I am going to use the center point rectangle once again, making sure that it's in the center of my job. So that's lining up with this. It's turned into a dotted line. And I'm going to come out here like this. This is also a 4 mil hole. I'm going to use the dimension tool to go from here to here. And that is supposed to be 12.5. That was pretty close. That's that piece there, and we're going to extrude that circle, remove it, and make sure it goes all the way through to the other side, like that. So we do want our two holes to overlap quite a lot, because that just makes it a lot easier when we actually make the thing. So now that part is done. We go down to part 4, we go to properties. I'm going to call this the shaft, and it is 300 mil 12 round bar. Save. And we're going to hide that away. The next part we need to make is the pin. So we're just going to orientate ourselves back to the top. We're going to hit sketch, click on top. We're going to use the line tool again. We're going to make a pointy thing. So we're going to go straight up, straight to the side, straight down like that, and back there again. So this side here is 2 mil. This side here is 30. And we're going to make that 25. We're going to use the revolve tool again. So we're going to go over the revolve. We're going to click on the surface we want to revolve. Then we're going to come here, remove revolve axis, click on that. Click on the axis. Tick. Done. Now we have our pin. So we're going to come over here, right click on part 5, hit properties. Go over here, we're going to call it a pin. And we're going to this is actually just a concrete nail. So we're not actually going to make this in the shop. We're just going to use a concrete nail. It's much easier. They're already hardened. And if you try and machine something on one of our machines down to 4 mil, it's going to be a bad time. I just need to spell that correctly. And then hit save. Right, so those are our 5 parts. In the next part of the video, we're going to assemble them into the shape they're supposed to be in.